Hi guys, apparently it's a trend that I'm going to always start my reading vlogs in the street. That last time I was walking, now I'm in the car with my mom and my cat. He is sitting down there because he's really tiny and can't be home. Anyways, what I wanted to tell you was Hot Wax by Emil Rio is out now. It just hit my shelf, which means one thing and one thing only. I'm going to start listening to it right now. Yes, on the way, because the most fun way to start an audiobook is in the middle of the road, apparently, for me. So I'm going to start it right now. Not right now. I'm going to get to therapy right now. When I'm coming back, I'm going to, start Hot Wax by Emma Rio, which is one of my most anticipated books of 2025. Catabasis was not it. It definitely wasn't what it was supposed to be. So let's cross our fingers that this one is going to be really good and make up for that. Okay, I'll update you when I'm not in the middle of the streets, obviously. See you, bye. Hello and welcome to my channel. I think that's what I should have said in the beginning, but I started in the car, so hello now. Welcome to my channel. My name is Romina. If you're here, if you're new, welcome to my channel. And if you're a member, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you every single day. Let's get to the purpose of this video. So in this video, as I said very frantically in the car intro, I'm going to read Hot Wax by ML Rio. I did not, in fact, start listening to the audiobook yesterday because after coming out of therapy, I was really not in the state of reading anything. I was just scrolling on TikTok and not really doing anything else. So that gives us the opportunity to read the summary together. I really do not know what this book is about. And the only reason I want to read it, and it was on my most anticipated books of the year, is because of If We Were Villains, the book I loved when I read, and I really want to reread every single day, and I will do that, hopefully. And I'm going to read this one now, and I'm really hoping that I will like this one as much as If We Were Villains. Okay. Let's read the summary together, shall we? Summer, 1989. 10-year-old Suzanne is drawn like a magnet to her father's forbidden world of electric guitars and tricked-out cars. When her mother remarries, she just might be Gil and the Kill's wild ride to glory. Oh, her father is a rock star? Anyway, but fame has sharper fangs than anybody realized. And as the band blazes up the charts, internal power struggles set Gil and his group on a collusion course destined for a bloody reckoning, one shrouded in mystery and lore for decades to come. Okay, so nothing like If We Were Villains, but sounds amazing. Sounds really amazing, okay. The only witness to the desperate act of violence, Suzanne spends the next 29 years trying to disappear. She trades the music and mayhem of her youth for the quiet of the suburbs and the company of her mild-mannered husband Rob. But when her father's sudden death resurrects the troubled past she tried so hard to bury, she leaves it all behind and hits the road in search of answers. Oh my god, I'm going to love this book, aren't I? It sounds right up my alley. Damn. Hitching her fate and Gil's beloved car to two vagabonds who call an old Airstream trailer home, she finds everything she thought she'd lost forever. Desire, adventure, and the woman she once wanted to be. But Rob refuses to let her go, determined to bring her back where she belongs. He chases her across the country and drives her to a desperation all her own. French in knockdown, drag-out rock and roll, Hot Wax is a raucous, breakneck ride to hell and back, where getting lost might be the only way to find yourself and save your soul. It's 400 pages. God damn, that was a good summary. This was my first time reading it. I was like, Emil Rio, new book? Count me in. So that sounds amazing. I think I'm going to love this book. I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm going to start it and update you when I have an update. I hope it's a very good book. Let's go. Guys, here's the thing. The Emil Rio that wrote this book is the Emil Rio of Graveyard Shift and not If We Were Villains, and that's really bad. For me, personally, that's very bad because I didn't really enjoy Graveyard Shift and I wanted that feeling of If We Were Villains back, and this is not it. I don't want to be negative already because I'm like 4 or 5% in, but it's not hooking me in. It's making me feel like, it's feeling like a chore that I have to finish this because I started this vlog especially. But I really don't want to. I'm not excited to read this book and figure it out. But in If We Were Villains, I started the first page and I was in until I closed the book. So I'm having a lot of problems with that. I'm going to keep the faith and just go on. Maybe it gets better by going in, but I'm so disappointed. I mean, I'm hoping that it gets better, but I didn't like Catabasis. And now I'm like, is it me? Or is it just my anticipated releases not being it? Is it me or is it the books? We'll see. I'm going to continue and update you when things hopefully get better. Hopefully. Okay guys, I'm 50% in now, almost 50 more or less. And you might realize that it is the same day. It is, what day is today? Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday and it's the same day. It's not been that many hours, but I'm already halfway in because I'm listening to the audiobook first of all, and hey, don't touch my camera. What are you doing? Oh, you're saying mean it? My baby's here. Yeah, you're here. Right. I'm listening to the audiobook at 2.5 speed. I was so bored that I needed to speed it up so that I could keep paying attention. I'm sorry. So let's get into my problems with it. First of all, the timeline is all over the place. And when I tell you all over the place, I mean all over the place. We have the very past, which starts when the main character, Suzanne, is a child, 3-4-year-old, whatever. It starts at that time. We have that timeline. We have the near past, which is when she's 17, 18, somewhere around that. Maybe, yeah, I think it's 17 or 18. Then we have the present time. She's an adult in I don't know, 30, 40-year-old. And also, in this timeline of present, we have two POVs, Suzanne and her husband, which I can't stress enough. We do not care about this character. I can't even tell you his name. Bob? Rob? One of those things. And he's not interesting. He's so irrelevant to the story that we're having. And he's just a white dude trying to find his wife who left him willingly. It's not like she's missing or something. She texts him like, hey, I'm gone, we're done. And he's like, oh, let me go and get her back. Okay, I guess. In these two timelines, the other timelines and POVs, the present POV, other than the whole husband thing, even if you're not thinking about that, the Suzanne POV of the present time, boring. The most boring thing you can write. I do not know why she wrote it like this. It is so boring. So boring. I can't say that enough how boring it is. Suzanne is a very, very bland, not even a little bit interesting main character. And in the present time, she's just on a road trip with two strangers that are a couple, but actually feel like siblings. And I even don't know what's going on with them. They're just moving around and selling stuff and whatever. The timeline of the very, very past is that starts when she's a child, is when, again, it starts when Suzanne is a child and his father, Gil, has a band or is starting a band named Gil and the Kills. They're not famous or anything special, they're just a mid tier normal band. And he's trying to get it to some place that everybody recognizes them and they become rock stars. Basically, that everybody wants to go to, and a big name that everybody knows. That's the whole dream of her dad. And her mother resents the father because of that. She resents her father because he's never there, never really takes care of their child, Suzanne, and is not really a present husband or father because he's always on the road, right? Suzanne doesn't really have a father figure. She loves her father and the idea of him, but he's not really there. Nora, her mother, is also not a very good mother. She's there, but she's not really there. She's just takes her to work, which makes him, even talking about it is making me exhausted because nothing special is happening in this book. She goes to the mall that her mother works at. She works at Macy's, and while Suzanne is walking around, she finds another store, a music shop that has records and stuff, and she gets interested in that. Goes to work there, get different records, and listens to them. Her mother disagrees, destroys them because she hates music. Blah 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 blah. Boring, 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 boring stuff. And yeah, that's that timeline. Then we get to the timeline of, oh, and it's not like, oh, we complete that timeline, get into the next timeline. No, she just jumps between them. It's like very, very past, normal past. Now, let's go to Rob. Let's go back to very past. Let's go this place. Let's go this place. And these things have nothing to do with each other. Boring, mid, boring. What the fuck? That's it. That's all I can tell you. The near past part is when she's like 17 and 18 and something has happened that she hasn't seen her father for a very long time. We know that when she was on tour with them, something has happened. Because in the very past timeline, she gets to the age of 10 or 11 and she goes on tour with her father and their band because her mother has married another dude. So she's on the tour with this whole rock band, and I'm telling you, this is the only interesting part of this whole story. She's on tour with this band, and even that is not done very greatly. The band should be the most interesting part of this story. It should have a charisma and an interesting part that makes you want to know more about this band and these rock stars and what happened to them. But first of all, we don't really get to know everybody in this band. We know their names, but that's it. There's one character in there that has a lot of names. I don't know, hands, whatever, a lot of names. That is, the hot character of this band, the bad boy that I'm assuming she has a crush on or whatever. And even he is not that interesting. Nobody in this band is interesting. The only person that we kind of get to know is her dad. I don't get it. I don't get what she was trying to do with this book. I'm not getting annoyed like I was with Catabasis, but it's kind of worse because at least when I was reading that, I was getting annoyed and heated up and came here and talked to you. But with this one, I wanted to update you every step of the way, but I was like, and tell them what? Nothing is happening. And even now that I'm talking to you, I'm halfway into this book and nothing is happening. Maybe the next 50% is so great that it excuses the midness of this first 50% part, but if not, I don't know. Oh, I just remembered something. In the very past part, one part of it, you're reading about her childhood and stuff, right? Then you get to a point that is a scene of 2 or 3 pages of her parents meeting for the first time. And I was like, did I really need to read this? What was the point of this? They met after a show of his. And I was just listening to it and I was like, okay, but I really didn't need to know this. I just don't understand the point of any of this. I don't understand why we needed to know what happened in her childhood leading up to the whole tour thing. Maybe we needed to know why she wanted to be with her father more. Maybe I can excuse that. The timeline of Close Pass, that is when she's 17, 18, leaving home, we didn't really need to have another timeline for that. We could have just, when you are telling the very, very far past that she's 3, 4, then get to 10, naturally you're going to get to 17. So you can actually tell what happened at 11 years old and jump to 17. Why are you doing it like this? Like, okay, now she's 5 or 6, now she's 17, now she's 40, now she's 8 again. And, it's just all over the place. And when I try to explain it, I'm all over the place because of this book. It just doesn't have a natural flow. It's just jumping everywhere. Instead of, a normal book has 2 POVs, past, present. Do it like that. Do the past, get to the closer to now, and tell the story of the present time. Why are you dividing the past time into another 2 timelines? I just don't get it. And the second timeline is not really adding anything to the story either. The only thing that you get from the other part is that she didn't see her father for a very long time after that, ever after that, which is also what you get in the present time. So she's not seeing him when she is 18. You get that from her 18, and then you get that from her 40, 30-year-old self that says, after that tour dates, I never saw him again. So we didn't need that, did we? I don't know. I'm just bored and bothered, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't really be continuing this. I am really sorry. I am not trying to be negative, okay? These are my most anticipated books of the year. I waited for this book since before January when it was announced that there's going to be a new ML Rio book. And it's just disappointing me. I hope it gets better. Guys, how the tables have turned. I know you were expecting me to continue on the road of, oh my god, I don't like this, but guess what? Me too. But we hit that 50% mark. It's like she became another author. It became a whole thing of the present time is now interesting. The past became one timeline, consistent timeline. We get some moving, but it's fine. It's just some scenes. The timeline of the past is the time of that tour and being a rock band and stuff. The rock stars suddenly got hot. First of all, new rock stars appeared out of thin air, and the old ones, one of them, Skelly, god damn. This is the book I wanted from the beginning, and actually I'm loving it so much right now that I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't the book, maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't in the mindset of this book, and that's why I didn't enjoy it. I was doubting myself so much. I was loving it so much that I can see that maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't at the right mindset, and I was, too distracted, or all the other things that are going on in my life were too loud, that didn't let me enjoy the book for what it was. But God, I'm enjoying it so much right now. I highlighted things to read to you because I was shocked. I was so shocked. The only thing I can say is I wish that the leader of this group was not her father. It's it's really hard to imagine a sexy, hot rock star and imagine all the things that you want to imagine when they're on the scene, when this character is her father, and you are reading this book through Suzanne's eyes, so it's like he's your father at that moment. You're putting yourself at her shoe, looking at your father on stage, and it's so hard because we see rock stars as very hot, sexy people. My favorite bands are Sleep Token, Motionless in White, Bring Me the Horizon, and Bad Omens. So when I'm imagining this stuff, I'm imagining these guys, and then I'm like, Dad, 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 God. So I really, really wish that he wasn't her dad. Or her dad was, the manager of this band. And we got to see the band itself. Or her dad was, I don't know, not the lead singer of this group. Maybe, I don't know, a guitarist that stepped back and we could see the whole messiness and hotness of the rest. Or maybe it's just me and everybody else is loving it. I'm just like, he's a dad. He's a dad. Technically, right now, I'm Suzanne and he's my dad. Oh no, oh no. But I'm going to read it to you. But I'm going to read stuff to you, okay? Hi, baby! Hi, baby! Are you here to listen to me talk to? You're the best baby ever. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I love you. Gil seated the spotlight and stayed on his knees, begging for mercy at the altar of the screaming Stratocaster. Skelly flipped it over, played upside down, offered it like a holy relic to kiss. A sticky squelch as Gil's tongue ran down the neck, head disappearing for one hazardous moment into Skelly's groin. I just want you to imagine that. Just this scene. The only problem is Gil is her father. But we're going to just ignore that and act like this is like reading a single father romance, and enjoy the beauty of this scene. Just enjoy the beauty of this scene. Jesus Christ, Doug said, though Christ had clearly left the building. You know what? I don't care who leaves the building as long as these two are on stage and I can see them. Please, I want to see them. I want to be in that concert. All I can, this just made me think of that moment that Ricky Olsen from Motionless in White licks the neck of the guitar. I want to date a rock star now. I wanted to date a rock star forever. Oh, and this is not that timeline of the rock star. This is actually now, but it was a very beautiful thing. Listen to this. Her foot twitched under the table, trying to slam on the brakes and swerve out of a head-on collision. But it happened too fast, just like a crash. The inescapable revelation that maybe she'd been molded more by Eric Skillman than Nora or Nathan or Gil or Gracie. These are her parents. Her mother, father, and stepmother and father. But Eric Skillman is Skelly, the hot rock star. Was more his was more his piece of work than theirs, more his miscreation, self-obsessed and self-destructive, not who she was meant to be or even who she thought she was. Nobody's daughter after all. That's beautiful. Was it me? Was I wrong about the rest of this book? Because I'm enjoying it so much. So much, so much, so much. I am at, what percent is this? 76%. And I'm already just in love. And I am in love. I flew through this next 25%. I was enjoying every moment of it. I was thinking about going back to the beginning and rereading this book. That's how much I was enjoying it. I couldn't imagine this was the same book. So maybe, disclaimer, maybe it was me. Seriously, maybe I was not in the headspace for this, because this is amazing. And what I was reading until now was boring. I'll update you later. Hopefully this trend of loving this book is going to go on. It keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. Oh my god. Guys, this is the book I wanted. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm finally getting what I wanted all along. This is great. Okay? This is great. Now we have that experience that I wanted. The rock band, the messiness, the sexual tension, the kissing, the oh my god, they're on the stage. They're you know what I mean? This is getting better. This is just getting all the way better. And I really was so interested in the book that I didn't want to come update you. I was like, I'm going to go and finish it. And then I was like, no, you need to update the vlog. Because if you get too much into it, you're just going to be there until the end. Of course, I'm going to read things to you, because how else am I going to explain to you how good this is getting? Ready? This looks like no kind of place for a lady to go walking alone. She murmured the first sulking verse of Hard Candy over the slow, steady boom of the bass drums. Lyrics. Wrong side of my bed of nagels, still tangled in his shirt. Must be I've got a grudge. My love just won't budge. When my lover, he treats me like dirt. Skelly walked back into the light. He stepped right over Nikki to a chorus of whistles and shouts. The jawbreaker hung low on his hips. When he struck the strings, Vince shivered in the invisible grip of delight. Pause. These two musicians are in another band. They're together, and the band that we're having, Kill and the Gills, are separate. These two are siblings, and they're on tour with each other right now. Nikki, who he stepped over, is her brother, the guitarist. He has kind of blacked out because he drank too much, and she's singing on stage alone. And Skelly, the hot man that I have a crush on, just stepped on stage. And my imagination is so vivid of this scene. Let me continue. But Skelly was patient. Skelly was cool, feeling his way into the song. Lyric. Beat me and cheat me, love me and leave me, bad man, madman, do your worst. Vince rocked on her small, sticky feet, Skelly and the rest of Babble Mouths pointing their instruments towards her, like compass needles finding north. The music reeked of sex and sleaze, her breath hot and wet in the microphone. Arousal oozed through the room. Lyric. Bruise me, abuse me, just don't refuse me. I kinda like it when it hurts. I'm going to skip a while because I don't really want to spoil everything. I'm reading this scene, but I don't want you to know everything behind the scene of what's actually going on between, the tension of everything else. I just want you to have this scene. He played with his old body, writhing and twisting, the muscles of his abdomen rigid and hard as the frets of his guitar, but slamming on the strings like that came at a cost, and the sutures on his right hand burst open. He wrung the jawbreaker's neck with a snarl, then flipped it over one hand to the other. Bloody knuckles, bloody knuckles, bloody knuckles, the audience chanted. as his fingers slipped and skidded on the strings. He looked up and froze, watching the whole room, watching Vince, watching him. I'm going to repeat that sentence. Watching the whole room, watching Vince, watching him. Deep breaths. I need to go on. He ran his tongue over the back of each hand, licking his paws after the kill, too much for a sick little kitten like Vince to resist. She hit him with her whole body, screaming right into his teeth. I like it when it hurts. Yeah, baby. You don't like the scene? Why not? It's hot. But you're a kitty. You shouldn't be listening to me. I like it when it hurts. The audience roared the words for her. She couldn't sing with her tongue in his mouth. And he couldn't rip another note from the jawbreaker with his bloody hands all over her. Pandemonium in the wings and on the floor, everyone losing their heads at once. Even Skelly was thrown. Vince had him by the hair and made him buckle his knees, his pretty face masked in sweat and blood and slicks of lipstick. Even reading through this scene is making me breathless. She's writing this scene so vividly. You feel like you're there. You feel like you are at this concert watching these two people lose their minds. This is not spoiling anything, but this very scene. Lyric. I'm your misery queen, got me down on my knees, and I'm begging you please. She flung him to the floor, put one filthy foot under his chin. Lyric. Sink your love this in me. Vince licked her lips in the microphone. Skelly's narrow chest heaving underneath her. He took his red hands off her thighs and bucked the jawbreaker up to meet them. Do you like it when it hurts? When Emil Rio wants to write, Emil Rio writes. You know, when she puts her mind to describing a scene, you can never forget the scene ever again in your life. I was just reading this scene for the first time, jaw open, and just look at my iPad. I highlighted everything. I couldn't believe what I was reading. This is why I picked up this book. This is what I wanted. And I need to go and watch some live concerts of, I don't know, whoever. One of the bands that I love. I need... Damn. Just damn. This is the book I wanted. I'm back. Still in the safe outfit, still the same day. I'm excitedly reading this book. There's a song in here, and I love their lyrics. I'm going to read that to you because it's beautiful. Woke up feeling down today, went for a walk in what's left of the rain, and all that's left of loving you came crawling back again. So I sit under the meadows tree where my friends used to sit with me before you and me and everything all turned to gold. Don't fill your pockets up, 'cause you might sink. At least that's what I used to think. Now maybe I don't. Who pulls the weeds in Eden? Who trims the trees? Must be God's the gardener, but he's not minding me. Troubled times in paradise, I must be on my way. I feel it in my bones, my love. Here comes the rain. That's a beautiful lyric. I'm not really sure how you make it, rock, because it rhymes too much, but beautiful anyway. And I wanted you to have that. So now I read a lot and I enjoyed that. I'm going to get dressed, go to my mom's house. I'm going to be there for 2 days. It's my grandpa's birthday. I'll be reading there and I'll be updating you, but I just wanted you to know why suddenly the background has changed. I'm going to be there. I'm definitely going to finish this book now. I'm going to forgive the first 50% because maybe it was the book, maybe it was me, but what matters is it got there, and I love that. Guys, I'm at my mom's house, as I told you, and I finished Hot Wax last night. I waited until today to have my thoughts all together and make sure that I'm not saying something because I'm too angry. As you can maybe imagine from my face, after the last update, it was all downhill. It went downhill so fast. I can tell you the only good parts of it were the whole 25%, maybe that, if that, in the middle. And well, the beginning was bad, and I thought maybe it was me, but then it got bad again, and I realized that, oh, no, it was not me, it was the book. It was a book, and it got bad again. Here's the thing. I'm going to call the whole book undercooked at best. That's the problem. It was undercooked at best. It was so underwhelming. It was a letdown. It made no sense. There was no point in anything. There was no point, no resolution, no nothing. We got to the whole, what the premise was telling us. There was an act of violence that Suzanne was witness to. We got to that. It had nothing to do with other things that were happening. You were not really interested, but at least you were a little bit hyped up for, okay, tell us what happened. Okay, we are seeing these steps. So where did these things lead? How did these things build up to a violence? And what happened had nothing to do with other things. And it came out of the blue. It was so random, so weird. The character that did something, I don't know, he was not going to do that. The character we got to know wouldn't do that, what he did. And then the rest of the violence happened when Suzanne was not in the room. So we didn't get to see that. We just went, we were like, okay, something happened that shouldn't have happened. They trusted this character to be a good person and not do something, and they did. And you got to see that, which again came out of the blue. There was no inclinations that this character, well, there was one single scene that I can think of that was, a hint. But still there was a far-fetched, it was like the author put that scene there to be like, oh, do you remember that thing? And it was such a different thing. It's like saying that, okay, just because somebody was, getting out of their driveway and accidentally, I don't know, ran over somebody's foot, then that means that they will, in the future, run somebody over with their car. That's how these two scenes were different. And yeah, that happened, and it was again random, came out of the blue, so out of character, so unnecessary, so pointless. Then this character that was witnessing it, and it was there, and we are in, that POV. We're not seeing everything, we're just seeing what's happening to Suzanne, left the room. And she was not really basically she fell asleep and just heard some noises. It's not like she was hearing the whole conversation, and even though she wasn't seeing it, we were hearing it. No. We just got out of her room, got to the next room, she fell asleep. That's such lazy writing. That's so lazy. I can't even imagine that you built this whole book with the premise of, something very violent is going to happen and it's going to change the whole history, and you are having another timeline of her, Suzanne, telling you after that night everything changed, and then you don't get to see that night. What happened? I don't know. Everybody thinks they know what happened, and yeah, she points to probably this happened. Why didn't we get to see that? If you're calling Suzanne a witness, then why isn't she witnessing it? That's an author not wanting to write a scene and cheating by removing the POV from that scene and then telling you what happened later on. But even if you're doing that, you need to tell us what happened afterwards, and not just, oh, newspapers said this, and oh, Gracie hinted to, okay, you need to tell me what happened. No, you need somebody from that room to tell you what happened, which in this book means, okay, after everything that happened, we need to see the court hearing that happened for, custody of Suzanne, which happened, and you get that from the first pages, that Suzanne has not seen her father regularly after she was 11, and something happened on this tour because of the child custody thing that gave her to her mom. So you need to either see the court hearing and have a conversation with the dad, or no matter what happened, we needed a conversation between Suzanne and Gil, her father, of, okay, tell me what happened. We didn't have that. It's like the author was avoiding the whole thing. So then why did you write this book? That's my question to ML Rio. Why did you write this book? What was the point of this book? I cannot tell you what the point of this book was at all. It wasn't like, okay, something very violent happened and it's a mystery, we're going to figure out that mystery. No, it wasn't that, okay, it's a drama of this rock band getting disbanded and something because of something very dangerous happening. No, it wasn't talking about, I don't know, a very complicated father-daughter relationship. No. What was this book? Because it touched all of them and none of them. It dropped the ball on every single one of them. The present storyline did not need to be there. The only reason for the present storyline to be there would have been if Suzanne could figure out what happened in that room after she got out. From her father, a journal, a tape recording, whatever, something that did not happen. We did not need the present time there. That was so pointless. You got to the end of that and it wrapped up the whole conflict of the present time like this. Meaningless, pointless, boring, not interesting. It was so bad. That was so bad. So that's the present time that got resolved so bad, and the only thing she got from that was, oh, she's allowed to tell her side of the story. Which side? She doesn't have a side of the story. She had a 5-minute experience which was bad, which started everything, but she doesn't have the story itself. What do you mean? Why was the beginning of the story at the point of Gil dying? If Gil is the only character that have answers, we need those answers, and you are starting your book by killing the only one that has the answers. And at the end of the book, you're not giving the answer to us. Yes, it was inclined what happened. We were there for the mystery. The premise was, hey, something happened, and now we're going to know what it was, and we didn't. And you spend so much time building up this, oh, there was a conflict between them and this other band, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, for nothing, because that had nothing to do with what happened. I am angry, I am disappointed, I don't understand how is this writer the same writer of If We Were Villains. I don't understand why she wrote this. I don't understand why there were 2 timelines. I don't understand anything. I don't understand anything. I don't understand the point. It was not interesting. It was not even, you know, when I read The Favorites by Lane Fargo, you can say that there was no point. It was just a drama book. But at least the drama was interesting. There wasn't even a drama in this one. The characters were all bland, except that one character that you did something with that was so out of character and wrong, and you just ruined their character. Then you added 2 more characters that were pointless. Everybody else in that band was pointless. Her father was pointless because you didn't even orchestrate a conversation between these two. That's what this book was lacking, conversations. People were not talking to each other. There was no character development in Suzanne. I can't see any difference between the 10-year-old Suzanne and the 40-year-old Suzanne, because there was no characteristics, no character arc, no arc, not art, no nothing. No nothing. This book was bad. Okay, I'm sorry, it was bad. It was such a mid book. There were only good scenes in it, and it was just bad. Just disappointing, underwhelming, undercooked, under everything. I can't believe we waited for so many years so that Emma Rio could give us a book that was a masterpiece, like If We Were Villains, and we got this. So disappointed. I have nothing else to say other than it was disappointing, and I'm going to give it 2 stars. And the only reason I'm not giving it 1 is because it was Emma Rio and there were some good scenes. I started the book thinking it was going to be a 5-star, then at the 25% I was like, okay, maybe it's a 4. We got to 50 and it got to 5 again, then I was like, okay, maybe 3, and then the book just ended. I was like, oh god, this was bad. This was really bad. It was a roller coaster of going from very bad to mid to good to drop down to especially bad. I have nothing else to say. I wish I did. I wish I had a whole review coming, but it was just bad. And I don't have anything else to say other than I am so disappointed. So disappointed. And I'm going to move on. I'm just going to move on. I needed to update you because you were watching this vlog. Hopefully, if you stuck around until now, thank you, because this was a bad book. Hopefully the next vlog is going to be way better, because I'm working on it, and from what I know of it now, from what parts of it I've read until now, that one is going to be good. I'm really excited for that one, and I'm enjoying that one. So please subscribe to my channel, stick around. Hopefully we will read way better books together. See you in the next one. Bye.